Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A self-contained part of a larger composition, written or musical. A section of a section. A part of a part, i.e., a part of something already divided. A division of some larger or more complex organization. An area composed of subdivided lots. The act of subdividing. Division of something previously divided. A self-contained part of a larger composition, written or musical. He always turns first to the business section. A specialized division of a large organization. She got a job in the historical section of the Treasury. The cutting of or into body tissues or organs, especially by a surgeon as part of an operation. Geometry, the area created by a plane cutting through a solid. One of the portions into which something is regarded as divided and which together constitute a whole. The finance section of the company. A small class of students who are part of a larger course but are taught separately. A graduate student taught sections for the professor's lecture course. Divide into segments. One of several parts or pieces that fit with others to constitute a whole object. A section of a fishing rod. A distinct region or subdivision of a territorial or political area or community or group of people. No section of the nation is more ardent than the South. A division of an orchestra containing all instruments of the same class. A land unit equal to 1 square mile. A segment of a citrus fruit. He ate a section of the orange. A small army unit usually having a special function. A small team of policemen working as part of a police platoon. A very thin slice, of tissue or mineral or other substance, for examination under a microscope. Sections from the left ventricle showed diseased tissue. A section of a section. A part of a part, i.e., a part of something already divided. Any instrument or instrumentality used in fighting or hunting. Any projection that is thought to resemble a human arm. The arm of the record player. A division of some larger or more complex organization. The part of a garment that is attached at the armhole and that provides a cloth covering for the arm. Prepare oneself for a military confrontation. A human limb. Technically the part of the superior limb between the shoulder and the elbow, but commonly used to refer to the whole superior limb. Supply with arms. The U.S. armed the freedom fighters in Afghanistan. The part of an armchair or sofa that supports the elbow and forearm of a seated person. A part of a forked or branching shape. He broke off one of the branches. Any projection that is thought to resemble a human arm. A branch of the sewer. Grow and send out branches or branch-like structures. A natural consequence of development. Divide into 2 or more branches so as to form a fork. A division of some larger or more complex organization. A branch of Congress. A division of a stem, or secondary stem arising from the main stem of a plant. A stream or river connected to a larger one. The work of a writer. Anything expressed in letters of the alphabet, especially when considered from the point of view of style and effect. That editorial was a fine piece of writing. The work of a writer. Anything expressed in letters of the alphabet, especially when considered from the point of view of style and effect. punishment for one's actions. You have to face the music. Any agreeable, pleasing and harmonious sounds. He fell asleep to the music of the wind chimes. An artistic form of auditory communication incorporating instrumental or vocal tones in a structured and continuous manner. Musical activity, singing or whistling, etc. His music was his central interest. Music, the sounds produced by singers or musical instruments, or reproductions of such sounds. The work of a writer. Anything expressed in letters of the alphabet, especially when considered from the point of view of style and effect. The writing in her novels is excellent. The act of creating written works. Writing was a form of therapy for him. The activity of putting something in written form. She did the thinking while he did the writing. Letters are symbols that are written or imprinted on a surface to represent the sounds or words of a language. He turned the paper over so the writing wouldn't show. Usually plural, the collected work of an author. The idea occurs with increasing frequency in Hemingway's writings. Divide into segments. Segment an orange. One of several parts or pieces that fit with others to constitute a whole object. Finished the final segment of the road. Divide or split up. The cells segmented. One of the parts into which something naturally divides. A segment of an orange. A group of ships of similar type. One of the portions into which something is regarded as divided and which together constitute a whole. The BBC's engineering division. The act of dividing or partitioning. Separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. Discord that splits a group. A league ranked by quality. A unit of the United States Air Force usually comprising 2 or more wings. An administrative unit in government or business. An arithmetic operation that is the inverse of multiplication. The quotient of 2 numbers is computed. An army unit large enough to sustain combat. 2 infantry divisions were held in reserve. Biology. A group of organisms forming a subdivision of a larger category. Botany. Taxonomic unit of plants corresponding to a phylum. The act or process of dividing. A collection of things wrapped or boxed together. A wrapped container. The allotment of some amount by dividing something. An extended area of land. Cover with strips of canvas. Parcel rope. Divide into parts. The developers parceled the land. Make into a wrapped container. An extended area of land. An extended area of land. A bundle of myelinated nerve fibers following a path through the brain. A brief treatise on a subject of interest, published in the form of a booklet. An extended area of land. A system of body parts that together serve some particular purpose. An extended area of land. An analysis into mutually exclusive categories. The act of dividing or partitioning. Separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. Divide into parts, pieces, or sections. The Arab Peninsula was partitioned by the British. The act of dividing or partitioning. Separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. Separate or apportion into sections. Partition a room off. A vertical structure that divides or separates, as a wall divides one room from another. Anatomy. A structure that separates areas in an organism. Computer science. The part of a hard disk that is dedicated to a particular operating system or application and accessed as a single unit. The act of dividing or partitioning. Separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. The act of dividing or partitioning. Separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. Embryology. The repeated division of a fertilized ovum. The act of dividing or partitioning. Separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. Religious texts from Deuteronomy inscribed on parchment and rolled up in a case that is attached to the doorframe of many Jewish households in accordance with Jewish law. Religious texts from Deuteronomy inscribed on parchment and rolled up in a case that is attached to the doorframe of many Jewish households in accordance with Jewish law. The act of giving an account describing incidents or a course of events. His narration was hesitant. A message that tells the particulars of an act or occurrence or course of events, presented in writing or drama or cinema or as a radio or television program. Rhetoric. The second section of an oration in which the facts are set forth. A persistent but subordinate motif. A part of the score that must be performed without change or omission. A persistent but subordinate motif. A part of the score that must be performed without change or omission. The passing of a law by a legislative body. A bodily reaction of changing from one place or stage to another. The passage of air from the lungs. The act of passing from one state or place to the next. A journey usually by ship. The outward passage took 10 days. A short section of a musical composition. The motion of one object relative to another. A path or channel or duct through or along which something may pass. The nasal passages. The act of passing something to another person. A section of text, particularly a section of medium length. A way through or along which someone or something may pass. Emergence during embryonic development of various characters or structures that appeared during the evolutionary history of the strain or species. A summary at the end that repeats the substance of a longer discussion. Music. The repetition of themes introduced earlier, especially when one is composing the final part of a movement. Music. The section of a composition or movement, especially in sonata form, in which musical themes that were introduced earlier are repeated. The section of a newspaper that reports on sports. A separate section of a legal document, as a statute or contract or will. Bind by a contract, especially for a training period. Grammar. A determiner that may indicate the specificity of reference of a noun phrase. Non-fictional prose forming an independent part of a publication. One of a class of artifacts. An article of clothing. Physical objects consisting of a number of pages bound together. He used a large book as a doorstop. A record in which commercial accounts are recorded. They got a subpoena to examine our books. The sacred writings of Islam revealed by God to the Prophet Muhammad during his life at Mecca and Medina. A compilation of the known facts regarding something or someone. His name is in all the record books. A written version of a play or other dramatic composition, used in preparing for a performance. The sacred writings of the Christian religions. A collection of rules or prescribed standards on the basis of which decisions are made. They run things by the book around here. Arrange for and reserve something for someone else in advance. The agent booked tickets to the show for the whole family. A collection of playing cards satisfying the rules of a card game. A major division of a long written composition. The Book of Isaiah. A number of sheets, ticket or stamps, etc., bound together on one edge. He bought a book of stamps. A written work or composition that has been published, printed on pages bound together. I am reading a good book on economics. Engage for a performance. Her agent had booked her for several concerts in Tokyo. Record a charge in a police register. The policeman booked her when she tried to solicit a man. Register in a hotel booker.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.